Okay, so sometimes, you think you've seen it all.
Right.
When it comes to getting around, right?
Mm.
But every now and then something pops up and you're like, wait a minute.
Totally.
I got to rethink this whole transportation thing.
Yeah.
And today we're going to dive into a concept
Okay.
that really does this. It kind of mashes up, I don't know, super high-tech robotics with like what you'd see in a field, like grazing. And it's all about the future of travel, making it more sustainable, I guess.
It's fascinating, right? When you see this kind of unexpected coming together of like cutting edge technology,
right,
and the kind of efficiency we see in nature,
right,
and thinking about how that might apply to how we get around in the future.
Exactly. Yeah. And the stuff you sent me takes us to Japan, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Kansai Expo 2025 in Osaka.
That's right.
Kawasaki was there. The
the motorcycle company.
Yeah, the motorcycle folks.
Yeah.
And they unveiled something called Corleo.
Yeah.
And I just got to say, it's a robot horse, like conceptually.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a robot horse.
And what's important to point out here is our sources really emphasize this is not just some,
like a gimmick.
Yeah, like futuristic whimsy. Yeah, this is a serious design project that's really focused on rethinking personal mobility.
Okay, so a robot horse. Like this sounds like it's straight out of like a science fiction movie or something.
Yeah.
But the main idea, if I'm getting this right, is to come up with a way to travel that's, doesn't hurt the planet, can go places that like a normal car can't.
Right.
And maybe even feels, I don't know, a bit more natural or something.
Yeah, exactly. And what the concept really comes down to is, as our information details, this blend of really advanced robotics.
Okay.
Very sophisticated artificial intelligence that can actually analyze and understand the world around it.
Right.
And a real commitment to using sustainable power.
Okay.
And the fact that it, looks like a horse.
Yeah.
And in some ways functions like a horse. It's not just a visual thing.
Okay.
It really is deeply connected to how it's designed to handle different kinds of terrain.
Okay, now when you say different kinds of terrain, one of the things that really jumped out at me was this idea of Corleo having all-terrain capabilities.
Right.
This isn't meant for like your average paved road.
No.
It sounds like it's for something way more like adventurous.
Absolutely. The sources specifically mention that.
Yeah.
It's made to navigate these irregular surfaces.
Okay.
That would be really difficult for most vehicles.
Like what? Give me an example.
Like mountain trails.
Oh, wow.
Rough, unpaved paths.
Okay.
Even, places covered in snow.
Oh, wow.
So for you, what that could mean is access to landscapes and experiences that are currently out of reach.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does a robot even do that?
Right.
I mean, a horse has that like natural flexibility in its legs and those hooves, right?
Right.
So how does Corleo copy that?
Yeah.
Like that whole stability and being able to adapt to different ground?
Yeah, well, the real key is in how it's built.
Okay.
It uses a very flexible suspension system.
Okay.
And its hooves are made from this special material that's anti-slip.
Oh, wow.
So this combination, it lets it stay balanced, keep traction even on uneven ground.
I see.
And even overcome obstacles.
Like what kind of obstacles?
It can jump, it can climb.
Wow.
And it does all this with surprising agility.
Really?
Yeah. So imagine the possibilities for you to explore, to go off the beaten path.
It really is. It's like a whole different kind of freedom. And speaking of freedom, the sources also talked about how Corleo is powered, right?
Right.
And it's not using fossil fuels, which is a big part of that whole...
Huge part, yeah.
Yeah, that eco-friendly angle.
Yeah.
So what is it using?
Well, Corleo is designed to run on a hydrogen engine.
Okay.
So for you, that means you're looking at a way to get around that's not just clean.
Okay.
It's producing very minimal emissions.
Right.
But it's also quiet.
Oh, okay.
So you're reducing noise pollution wherever you travel.
I see. So.
It's a direct response to this growing global demand for more sustainable transportation.
So a hydrogen-powered robot horse?
I know. It's pretty...
That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-bending, right?
But it totally makes sense.
It does.
When you think about, like, a greener future.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about how you actually control this thing. You know, you're the rider.
Right.
Are we talking reins and spurs? Yeah. Or is it something a little more
a little more high tech?
Yeah,
the control system is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
So while it does use that really sophisticated AI to constantly analyze its surroundings, the main way you'd steer Corleo is by shifting your weight in the saddle.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like you would on a real horse.
Exactly.
That's so cool. It's like
it's a really interesting blend of a very natural, almost primal way of interacting with an animal.
Right.
But then combined with this incredibly advanced technology.
Yeah. It's very cool.
Yeah, the goal is to make the experience feel really intuitive.
Okay.
And maybe even, more engaging on a deeper level for you.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
And to keep you in the loop, there's this digital dashboard.
Oh, okay.
That gives you all the important info about the robot's status.
So what kind of information are we talking about?
Oh.
Is it just like speed and stuff?
It's a lot more than that. Okay. It's really comprehensive.
Okay.
You'd see things like how much hydrogen fuel you have left.
Okay.
Your exact GPS location.
Right.
Any routes you've planned in advance.
I see.
And even real-time information about the robot's balance.
Wow.
So you'd have this complete picture of your journey and how the robot's doing.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Safety's got to be super important.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're going over rough terrain on a robotic animal.
Especially on a robotic animal.
Yeah, and I remember reading something about how Corleo handles nighttime travel too.
Yeah, yeah.
Which seems pretty important if you're out exploring, right?
Yeah, that's another really smart feature.
Okay.
And it's designed with you in mind.
Okay.
Both for safety and convenience.
Right.
So what they've done is they've equipped Corleo to project visual signals onto the ground at night.
Oh, wow.
So these projections, they help you figure out where you are.
Okay.
And navigate when it's dark.
That's smart. That's smart.
So it makes it, much more usable.
Right.
A more versatile way to get around for you.
So you could go over mountains in the snow during the day?
Potentially.
And then it'll guide you home safe in the dark.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
It's quite different from your average car.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But, the sources were pretty clear. Yeah. This isn't something you can just buy right now.
No, no.
Like, what's the deal with, how far along is this whole thing?
That's a key point to understand. Corleo's still in the conceptual stage and development phase.
Okay.
It's a working prototype that Kawasaki made to show off their vision for the technology and the potential of this kind of mobility.
So what's the timeline looking like?
Yeah.
When might we actually see something like this for sale?
Right.
Did the sources say anything about that?
Yeah, from what we looked at, Kawasaki's initial estimates are that a commercial model of something like Corleo might be around by 2050.
Okay.
So it's definitely a long-term thing.
2050, that feels like a ways off.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see what these big companies are thinking about. Right. It's the future of transportation,
Absolutely.
It shows you that Kawasaki's not just thinking about motorcycles anymore.
No.
They're exploring some really innovative stuff.
Yeah, totally.
It really makes you think.
It does.
Doesn't it, about the bigger picture?
It does, yeah.
Like, how does something as unique as Corleo fit into all the trends we're seeing in technology and transportation?
Well, if you connect it to those larger trends, it really lines up perfectly.
Okay.
With the global focus on sustainability and transportation.
Right.
And the growing role of robotics in everyday life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It suggests a future where getting around isn't just about efficiency, but also about minimizing our impact on the environment.
Right.
And maybe even enhancing our connection with it.
And when you think about those all-terrain capabilities,
right,
it raises some interesting questions.
It does.
About what it means for our freedom to move around.
Yeah, like imagine being able to easily access landscapes and areas that are really hard or even impossible to reach with regular vehicles.
Right, right.
That could fundamentally change how you interact with the world.
Sure.
So this raises a really important question.
Yeah.
How might technologies like this not only change our leisure activities and how we explore, but also have real practical uses.
Like what?
In things like emergency services.
Oh, okay.
Or reaching remote communities.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it could have a really wide impact.
Yeah. So to kind of wrap this all up, this deep dive has been really interesting. Corleo is way more than just a robot that looks like a horse.
It's much more.
It's a really ambitious vision for how we're going to get around in the future, right?
Right.
It blends, nature's design with cutting-edge tech.
Yes.
And it's all about sustainability.
It is.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, it really highlights the potential for a big change in how we think about and actually do personal transportation.
Right.
Especially when it comes to places that are difficult for normal vehicles.
Yeah. Yeah.
It offers a glimpse into a very different kind of journey.
It does. It makes you wonder,
it is.
With Corleo's capabilities and that 2050 timeline, what other unusual pairings of humans and robots might totally change our lives in the next few decades. It's not just about a robot horse, right?
No, it's bigger than that.
It's about all the possibilities that these innovations could open up for us for the future.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. It's a little scary too.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
But mostly exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been awesome. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And to everyone listening, we'll see you on the next one.
Yes.